I'm Susanna Brown. Welcome to Conversations with Susanna. My guest today is Gloria White-Hammond. She is working with a nonprofit organization called My Sister's Keeper that is going to be honored by the Rotary Club of Boston at the Governor's Prayer Breakfast. That will be November 16th from 7 until 9 in the morning at the Boston Park Plaza Hotel. I hope you'll join us. Tickets are available for sale on our Rotary Club website, which is www.bostonrotary.org. Gloria, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here.
I am so impressed with you because you have taken a stand as an individual to fight against genocide.
Yes.
That's truly remarkable for someone in our easy American society to do, and I'm wondering how you got that idea, where it came from, what's your background, and
Sure.
talk to me about that.
Well, my background is I was raised as an Air Force brat and lived in lots of different places, but came to Boston for my freshman year at Boston University, remained here for medical school and training, and married and had a family, and so Boston is now my home. In 2001, a good friend of mine, now Reverend Liz Walker, who was at that time a broadcast journalist she invited me to come along, and so I did. And that's how I got to South Sudan.
And what did you find when you got there?
Well, we were there to investigate a very elaborate underground railroad that had been created by locals in the community in South Sudan, during which they partnered with sympathetic friends who would go into villages in the north and identify slaves and either buy them from their masters or abduct them from the masters, bring them back to the local community, initially by individuals, but then subsequently by the hundreds and the thousands. And for the exchange of what was the equivalent of $33 per person, you could purchase the freedom of a slave. And so Liz, having heard about modern day slavery, wanted to do that investigation, and that's what we did, is to go and see for ourselves.
But now it has turned into something different, bigger, better.
It has.
How has that come about?
Well,
what are you doing?
Like I said, in 2001, we actually made the trip and recognized that many of those who were enslaved were women. And initially we're involved in, again, purchasing the freedom of the slaves. But then it became apparent that we could do more to facilitate their reintegration back into their communities. So we began working with the former slaves and helping them with income generating projects. Then the women in a particular community decided that they wanted to start a school. As the conflict between the North and South Sudan was starting to settle down, the conflict in Western Sudan and Darfur erupted. And largely at the prompting of the women that we were working with in South Sudan, they said you have to get involved in advocating for peace in Darfur and Western Sudan, because they saw Sudan as really being one big country, and they felt like none of us can know peace until all of us know peace. So that's how we got involved with the advocacy work in Darfur and Western Sudan, and as you've said, it's since mushroomed.
Yes, and this is the northern east section of Africa, just under Egypt. Is that correct?
That's right. It is bordered by Egypt and a number of other hot spots. So it's mostly eastern Africa, northeastern Africa. And when they were united as one large Sudan that included South Sudan, it was the largest country on the continent of Africa.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, and now, of course, that they're split.
And that's recent.
And that's right, it's a recent split.
So it's a new country?
South Sudan is a new country, and it's separated from the rest of what we knew as Sudan.
I see.
Yeah.
I've found out that there are 3 driving factors in this part of the world that really have created a very challenging political situation, and I'm sure they affect the work you're doing.
Well, they certainly do. I mean, it certainly contributes to the to the ongoing conflict. And many people refer to the scarcity of land resources in general. There's oil in South Sudan. There's also the process of desertification, where with the climate change and increasing drought, the deserts have moved from southward from more of what was northern Africa into more the central part of Africa.
So the desert is increasing in size.
That's right. So
and
people refer to that as desertification. But additionally, in Sudan, there's been chronic political marginalization, and so it's the political climate as well as the climate changes and the scarcity of resources are what has driven these multiple genocides now for generations.
What can we in this country do to be helpful, to be alert, to learn more?
Oh, absolutely. MS Keeper. That's short for mysisterskeeper.org, and where people can learn more about our organization. We're certainly very excited to receive donations. You can make a donation online, and if anyone's interested in being on our mailing list, you can write Gloria at mskeeper.org, and I'll certainly get back to people to let them know how they can be a part of the wonderful, wonderful work that My Sister's Keeper is doing with our Sudanese sisters. We have a large network of women all over the Sudan and South Sudan, but we also work with women in the United States and Canada, diaspora women, in their advocacy on behalf of their motherland.
And a final question, if it were a year from now, where would you like to see your organization?
Sure. Well, I would like it to be able to say that we have successfully facilitated peace in all of the regions in southern Sudan, and I'd love to see women working together to rebuild their communities. And with regard to education, we've been focused with our girls' school. It's the Cunha Girls' School and the Women's Literacy Project. Having built their permanent campus, we are now committed to working with the community to organize their first teacher training within the community. So we would like to say that we got that started and that the teachers are doing well and that the level of literacy is really improving. In South Sudan, 92% of women do not read. So we are working with the girls and with their mothers to improve the rate of literacy. So we'd like to be able to say a year from now that more women are reading and more girls are feeling competent in their literacy and numeracy skills.
Well, it's a great fit for Rotary because literacy is very high on our list.
It absolutely is, and that's why I'm delighted to be inducted as a member of Rotary and to be able to join my hands, my head, my heart with other Rotarians to ensure that there is literacy as a matter of justice in all parts of the world.
Great. Well, we look forward to working with you, and we're so glad that you will be the honoree at the upcoming Governor's Prayer Breakfast.
It's all my privilege. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you, Gloria.